YAH, please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. We'll start with the Shema, listen and obey. Children of Yah, pay careful attention and respond. Yud-He Vav-He is our power and authority. Yahweh works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yahweh with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, with all the muchness that you have. 1 Timothy chapter 5. Do not rebuke an older man sharply, but appeal to him as you would to a father. Treat younger men like brothers, older women like mothers, and younger women like sisters, with absolute purity. Show respect to widows who are really in need. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, first let them learn to do their religious duty to their own family, and thus repay some of the debt they owe their forebears. For this is what is acceptable in the sight of God. Now the widow who is really in need, the one who has been left all alone, has set her hope on God, and continues in petitions and prayers night and day. But the one who is self-indulgent is already dead, even though she lives. And instruct them about this, so that they will not be open to blame. Moreover, anyone who does not provide for his own people, especially for his family, has disowned the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Let a widow be enrolled on the list of widows only, if she is more than 60 years old, was faithful to her husband, and is known for her good deeds, as well as who has reared her children well, shown hospitality, washed the feet of God's people, helped those in trouble, and engaged in all kinds of good work. But refuse to enroll younger widows. For when they begin to feel natural passions that alienate them from the Messiah, they want to get married. This brings them under condemnation for having set aside the trust they had at first. Besides that, they learn to be idle, go around from house to house, and not only idle, but gossips and busybodies, saying things they shouldn't. Therefore, I would rather the young widows to get married, have children, and take charge of their homes, so as to give the opposition to no occasion for slandering us. For already some have turned astray to follow the adversary. If any believing woman has relatives who are widows, she should provide relief for them. The congregation shouldn't be burdened, so that it may help the widows who are really in need. The leaders who lead well should be considered worthy of double honor, especially those working hard at communicating the word and at teaching. For the Tanakh says, you are not to muzzle an ox when it is treading out the grain. In other words, the worker deserves his wages. Never listen to an accusation against a leader unless it is supported by 2 or 3 witnesses. Rebuke before the whole assembly those leaders who continue sinning as a warning to others. Before God, the Messiah, Yeshua, and the chosen angels, I solemnly charge you to observe these instructions, not prejudging and not doing anything out of favoritism. Do not be hasty in granting smika to anyone, and do not share in other people's sins. Keep yourself pure. Stop drinking water. Instead, use a little wine for the sake of your digestion because of your frequent illnesses. The sins of some people are obvious and go ahead of them in judgment, but the sins of others follow afterwards. Likewise, good deeds are obvious, and even those who are not, they can't stay hidden. Shaul pulls from 2 different parts. First, Deuteronomy, you are not to muzzle an ox when it is treading out the grain. Deuteronomy 25:4. Deuteronomy 25:4. In such a case for her husband who went 25:4. Yeah, that was in it. You're not to muzzle an ox when it is treading out the grain. That's exactly it. Okay. And then by two or three witnesses. Deuteronomy 17:6. Deuteronomy 17:6. The death sentence is to be carried only if there was a testimony for two or three witnesses. He may not be sentenced to death on the testimony of only one witness. Again, in 1915, Deuteronomy 19:15, one witness alone will not be sufficient to convict a person of any offense or sin of any kind. The matter will be established only if there are two or three witnesses testifying against him. Can I get a witness? Okay. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading 1 Timothy chapter 5? We can learn quite a bit. Respect older men, treating them like a father. Treat younger men like brothers. Older women like mothers. Younger women like sisters with absolute purity. Respect true widows. Widows, set your hope on YAH and continue in petitions and prayer day and night. Aim not to be self-indulgent, but alive in Messiah. Know that anyone who does not provide for his own people, especially for his family, has disowned the faith, is worse than an unbeliever. Women, aim to be faithful to your husband and known for your good deeds, and as one who has reared her children well, showed hospitality, washed the feet of YAH's people, helped those in trouble, and engaged in all kinds of good work. Young widows, to get married and trust in Yeshua. Young widows who remarry, have children and take charge of your home, knowing that the adversary is after your soul. Women, take care of other women in need. Leaders who lead well by working hard to communicate the word and at teaching. Never listen to an accusation against a leader unless it is supported by two or three witnesses. Rebuke before all those leaders who continue sinning as a warning for others. Shaul before YAH and Yeshua charges us to observe these instructions. Shaul says to grant often shmika, that is transmission of authority. Aim to keep yourself pure. Aim to cease from sinning with the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. Aim to do good deeds always. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can pray for others day and night for their salvation and obedience to YAH's two commands. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. How can we bear one another's burdens? We can work hard to communicate the word and at teaching. End with the Aaronic blessing. Yud-He Vav-He will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.